Tyler from Aspire Sports. I'm going to be giving you my Week 11 Thursday night game start and sit. So this is just basically all the players from Thursday night that I have some interest in that maybe you're contemplating starting Christian Kirk or Carlos Hyde. I'm going to give you some advice as to who you should start and sit. Also, I'll be releasing a video today when you're probably watching this for wide receivers start and sits. I also have a running back start and sit. I'll be doing a quarterback and tight end start and sit as well. So if you're not quite sure who to play, check out those videos. Also, if you have any questions, please leave in the comments below. We'll answer any questions you have. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So obviously the first one's I'm gonna start with the quarterbacks and just work my way down. So Kyla Murray, you're obviously starting him. If you don't start him, you're an idiot. Okay, let's just be clear. You're starting him, no questions. Go ahead, start him. Next one, Russell Wilson. You're also starting him. I have seen a couple questions on Twitter. Should I start Russell Wilson or Ben Roethlisberger? I'm a Steelers fan, a big Steelers fan. You're 100% starting Russell Wilson. Don't even think about it. He's a top 5 play easily. I'd say top 3 even this week. The last time these two teams played, Russ and Kyler combined for over 70 fantasy points together. So 100% you're starting both of them. So next one is going to be Kenyon Drake. And I do think Kenyon Drake is a sit this week. I don't feel comfortable starting him this week. I honestly think he's like a low RB2. Honestly, I think he's a RB3 this week, a touchdown dependent RB3, where if he doesn't score, he's going to have a pretty dud performance. Probably going to have around the same what he had last time. I do think he got hurt in that game, but I still think it's going to be a low performance. He doesn't catch the ball, so you don't have any really receiving upside with him. You're basically going to have to hope he scores a touchdown because Seattle's defense right now has given up the 4th fewest rushing yards in the NFL this season. They have, and I've also talked about this, they have Snack Harrison back. He played last week. A good run stopper in the middle. It's only going to get worse from here. So to me, Kenyon Drake is a sit this week. I'd play a lot of guys over him. Kalen Balaj, Ahmad from the Dolphins, I would consider playing him. Nyheim Hines over him. So I think he's a pretty low player. If you have a better option, 100% I would go with it. And I have seen this question a couple times too. Should I play Chase Edmonds or Kenyon Drake? My answer would be Chase Edmonds. I think Chase Edmonds is just, there's more opportunities. He's going to have some rushes. He'll probably have like a handful of rushes, maybe a little bit more in the offense. So he's going to have that. And then he's also going to have the receiving upside, which I think is going to be quite a bit of work, which he did last time in this game. He saw quite a bit of work in the receiving game. Now, both of them are going to be hard to score because Kyler Murray's running it in from in close, so I don't know who's gonna score the touchdowns. Touchdowns are incredibly hard to predict, but I do think he's a solid play, especially in PPR leagues. He's like a mid-range RB2 in PPR leagues, I'd say like a lower RB2 in standard scoring, but I would rather play him in standard scoring and PPR than Kenyon Drake, in my opinion. So let's go to the next one, and the next one's gonna be Carlos Hyde. Now this can change. I need to see the full inactives for this game because right now it looks like Carlos Hyde's definitely going to play. But I will say this, is the next one is going to be Alex Collins. Alex Collins played pretty well last week. This is a guy that hasn't played in nearly 2 years, came in his first game in 2 years, led the backfield in snaps, nearly 50% of the running back snaps he got last week. That's how many, 50% of the snaps, right? Led the backfield in touches. So I don't think he's going to go away. This is like Pete Carroll's style of running back. He loves violent runners that are downhill, and that's exactly the kind of runner he is. So I don't think, and Pete Carroll came out, he's the king of coach speech, but he came out and he said that he really liked how he played and that he's going to have some more work. So honestly, I think it's going to be a pretty even timeshare between him and Carlos Hyde. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, Carlos Hyde's going to be good this week, but honestly, I don't think so. I think that he's going to eat into a decent amount of his workload unless it comes out he's, inactive. Then you can totally disregard everything I just said, but I don't think he's going to be, and I think he's going to see a decent amount of work. So really, I don't like Carlos Hyde this week. If you had to pick one of these two to absolutely start, like you have no other better options, obviously I think Carlos Hyde's the better one, but I don't expect him. I know he had a good week last time he had a good week last time they played, but I don't expect that to happen this time. I wouldn't really want any part of this. I would definitely start like a Nyheim Hines over him. definitely Kalen Balaj, like all those guys over him for sure. If you have any questions, whether you need to start, sit them, leave it in the comments below. We'll answer anything you have, obviously. But I just don't like this situation here. No, thank you. And the next one's going to be DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, you're starting him, obviously. Duh. Yes, 100% you're starting him. And the next one here is going to be Christian Kirk. And I know a lot of people love Christian Kirk. He had this little stretch here of 3 games where he scored a decent amount of fantasy points, but he only had 12 catches. And on those 12 catches, he was averaging 5 fantasy points per catch. He had 5 touchdowns in that span. He was nearly averaging 6 fantasy points, basically a touchdown per catch. No, thank you. That is not going to continue to happen. Like that is insane efficiency. It's not going to be sustainable. I think he's a decent play. Like I think he's honestly like a lower wide receiver 2 in this matchup. He's going to have to score a touchdown to really be that relevant or put up 100 yards. And this is a terrible secondary, but last time they played, he only had 37 yards. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's a decent play this week, but if you have some better options, I would definitely consider playing them. Let's go into the next one. That's going to be DK Metcalf. And DK Metcalf, like honestly, I've seen a lot of people saying, should I play him? Yes, 100% you're playing him. Because if he scores, you're not going to start like a Tyler Boyd over him, right? Because he has the chance to go off for 40. Tyler Boyd doesn't have that chance. So you're gonna start him. And I do think it kind of benefits him a little bit with Tyler Lockett being hurt. I think that benefits DK Metcalf. I think DK Metcalf's going to have the better game this game than Tyler Lockett. So I expect a pretty decent game from him. So 100% you're starting him if you have him. Next one's going to be Tyler Lockett, who honestly, I'm a little concerned. I do think right now I have him projected as a back end RB1 or RB1, a back end wide receiver 1. Whereas if he wasn't banged up, he'd be more up, like in the, I'd say high upside wide receiver 1, like in the top 5 range, obviously, because he destroyed him last time. But I will say this: he's probably going to get a shot of cortisone, right? He's going to be fine for the game. Um, I think he is in a really good spot, so you better have a definite, like a scary Terry. Honestly, I'd play like all the Pittsburgh wide receivers except maybe Juju over him. I would start like Claypool and Johnson over him, but that's like, yeah, like when you start to get like Woods, the Tampa Bay wide receivers, no thanks. I would definitely play him. So I view him as more of a back end wide receiver 1, but I think he's going to be a solid start. Hopefully, as long as he's pretty effective, which I think he will be. And the next one here is going to be David Moore. Now, this is only if Tyler Lockett doesn't play, which it looks like he's expected to play. But if Tyler Lockett doesn't play, I do think David Moore is a really solid play in this game. I think he's like a wide receiver 3 with some upside, with some solid upside. But that's only if he doesn't play. If Tyler Lockett plays, I don't really have any interest in Moore. Um, he's a really boomer bust, like wide receiver 4 flex play. So I don't have any interest in him if Tyler Lockett's playing. But if he's not playing, I definitely do think he's a solid play. And one thing I will say is tomorrow, when you're listening to this, I would go pick him up, just store him on your bench, and if Tyler Lockett gets through the game just fine, then you can go ahead and drop him. But say Tyler Lockett, doesn't end up having that good of a game, or leaves the game early due to his knee issue, then definitely I would keep him on your bench to see what happens the next week with Tyler Lockett. So just thinking ahead, a little smart play that gets you get you winning leagues. So that's a league winning move there. So just keep that in mind. Also, let's go into the next one, and that's going to be Greg Olsen, who I have no interest in whatsoever. But if you're absolutely desperate, say a prayer, insert him in that lineup. But no, I don't think he's in play at all. There's definitely better options, but if you're in like a 16 team league and need someone, then sure, throw him out there because at least he's seeing all the tight end snaps for passing down snaps. So go ahead, throw him out there and hope for a prayer. Next one would be Dan Arnold, who same thing. At least he's seeing the tight end snaps and the passing down. So if you need somebody, it's really really ugly. Hopefully there's better options out there for you. But if you're in a really really deep league, then sure, I guess he's in play. At least he's not rostered in any leagues, right? That's the only good thing you have. Next, we'll go into the kickers real quick here, and I do think both of them are in play. Zane Gonzalez right now, he's third in field goals made from 40 yards or more. Well, 40 to 49 yards, I believe, is what the exact yardage is. So he's third in that area. So last time they played, he had 16 points. This is a good offense that's going to be able to drive the ball down the field, probably stall out in the red zone. So he's going to see some opportunities here. So I do think he's a solid play. And that's also Jason Myers as well. I think he's a pretty solid play as well. He had 12 points last time they played, attached to a good offense that isn't going to score every single time they touch the ball. So we'll have opportunities in this one. So I do think both of them are pretty solid plays this week as kickers. Definitely two top 10 plays in my opinion at the kicker position. Next, defenses. Absolutely no interest whatsoever in Seattle's defense. A tiny bit of interest in Arizona. Just if you're really desperate, and defenses can be pretty brutal, honestly. Like, not much out there. 16% rostered. Last time they had 7 points against Seattle. I They do have the third highest pressure rate in the NFL, so they can get after Russell Wilson, and they did get after him in the second half of that game. So I do think there's a little bit of interest, but definitely if there's like a Cleveland Browns, I'd much rather play the Browns over them. But if there's like nobody else there, I do have a tiny bit of interest in this defense. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. We'll answer anything that you have. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Check us on Twitter. We will be live tomorrow. We're doing a live show tomorrow from 7 to 8:30. Well, basically until the game starts. We kind of cut it off once the game starts. So we'll be live answering any questions you have. If you have, start and sit questions, you're not quite sure who to pick up or whatever, we'll answer any questions you have. So thank you for watching, and have a great day, and good luck.